I don't believe we're releasing these recordings. They are having these classes various times throughout the month. And so there's other options if you'd like to hop into another class, same topic. I think there are 7 or 8 more of this class will be on the calendar for 7 or 8 more times for April. Good question, Jenny. Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Brian's saying 13th and the 23rd. I believe he's teaching those. So thank you, Brian. All right, I'm going to jump right in. My name is Jennifer Carnahan, and I am the real estate sales instructor in Houston, Texas. And it is warm here, hence my sleeveless, believe it or not. Very humid today. I have been with Coldwell Banker for over 7 years, and I am very passionate about helping agents grow and develop their real estate business. I truly believe anyone can be successful in this business, and I love being a coach and a cheerleader along the way. So let's jump in. Now, there's no time like the present to analyze how you've been structuring your real estate business along with your time. Has your time been lining up to your goals that you set for 2020? Or are you burning the candle at both ends? Make the commitment to yourself to review and or determine your 2020 business goals. Design a routine, for reaching those business goals, and then creating a system that you can time block to meet those goals. And then last but not least, establish an action plan for reaching them. Now, I often hear real estate agents say mastering time management is one of the most difficult challenges they face. It's easy to start the day with productive intentions and end the day with an even longer to-do list. So I'm going to take a pulse on how you're feeling about your time management, and I'm going to launch a poll. You're going to see a poll here in just a second. If you'll go on and answer how you feel, this is anonymous, by the way. No one can see your answer, so be totally honest with yourself. Do you create a daily business to-do list and time block those activities? And this is multiple choice, so if you maybe do one and the other, or maybe you're stronger on one and not the other. Okay, we've got a handful of people that are responding. Awesome. I'm going to give a couple minutes to let everyone respond. Awesome. It looks like a lot of people, to-do list. Oh, I'm glad I'm not seeing somebody say, what's a to-do list? I love that, seeing that. Okay, we got a couple of people. Memory. Excellent. All right, we'll give about 4 more seconds, 5 more seconds. Give you a chance to do your voting. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share it with you. You should be able to see the results now. It looks like we have about 53% that do make a daily to-do list. I love to see that. And we only got 1% that doesn't know what a to-do list. I love that. I threw that in there for some fun, obviously. I use my memory for all of my daily commitments, about 19%. All right, that's a tough one, because sometimes, Jared, I'll tell you here in just a minute. Sometimes you can, I don't know about you, but I can't rely on my memory. I have 3 children and 3 fur babies and all that. So my memory is kind of shot these days. So I try not to use my memory for my commitments. I time block all the business commitments, and no, I don't time block. All right, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. And Jared, as far as my virtual background, I'm not sure that you can do it on a webinar, but you can do it on a meeting. And so you don't see the setting on your screen, but I will have one of my instructors put that in the notes in the chat box so you can see how to do that for the future classes. Thank you, Jared. I love it too. It's fun. All right. Thank you so much for taking the time to do that poll. So writing out your daily goals and time blocking to meet them are essential to achieving maximum productivity. Creating a daily routine is one of the best ways to reinforce productive business habits. So I'm going to walk you through my routine business day. Now, I will tell you it's adjusted a little bit here, right, with this shelter in place, the work at home, and the things like that have happened to us the last couple of weeks. But for the most part, it's still the same. I wake up each morning at 5:30. I do wake up early. I'm an early riser. I would say I'm not a morning person, but I am definitely an early riser. And I like to start my day with daily affirmations and my grateful jar. I like adding things to my grateful jar and reviewing the things I'm grateful for. It really puts me into a positive mindset, which then turns into positive energy that I just feel like I naturally exude. And then at 8 o'clock, I'm at my desk. I'm reviewing my schedule, MLS hot sheets, local markets. I would like to plug that I am getting up and getting dressed every single day. I am not wearing my PJs. I'm getting up. I'm dressing like I would for success, like I normally would, and that includes I do put my makeup on every business day. So I am still doing that because it just makes me feel more productive. So at 8:15 to 8:30, I skim my email for immediate response emails, and then I close it out. I will say that normally a best practice is not to check email earlier in the day, but with the environment that we're working in today, with everyone at virtually working, and I just want to make sure that I don't overlook somebody's, in, an urgent need. I want to make sure I'm servicing my clients. Thank you, Sandy. The slides. I'm not sure if we can do that. I will find out, Nikki. I'll find out about that. All right. So 8:30 to 9, I'm reviewing my database or my CRM, the client relationship manager. You'll hear it called different things, but it's your database. And then I'm looking at my contact list that I'm going to have for today. I'll review any scripts that maybe I need to refresh, and I'll have my calendar ready. And then at 9 o'clock, 9 to 10, I'm calling prospects. I'm calling my sphere of influence, my current clients, any virtual open house leads, etc. Then at 10 to 11, I do some of my administrative items. I go back and check my voicemails and respond to text, emails, any client follow-ups, and then social media. And I put for business because I know that social media can tend to be a time suck. And so I'm strictly using this time that I've assigned to do my business activities. And then at 11 o'clock, I go for a walk. I think it's super important to take breaks, especially in this digital world that we're in right now. And that online fatigue can definitely kick in. And so I do take a walk if the weather cooperates for me. And then I come back and I have lunch. And normally my lunch would be with clients or other vendors or possibly branch managers. But at this time, I'm having lunch with my two littles that are home, and then our three fur babies. They like to come around when it's lunchtime. And then from 12:30 to 1, I'm preparing for my virtual appointments. Yes, we are still having appointments. You can have buyer consultations and listing appointments and virtual open houses. So I'm preparing for those. And then 1:30 to 2, I do a quick email check again, make sure there was nothing that needed my immediate attention. And again, I close it out after I've reviewed it. And then 2 to 4, I'm actually doing those client appointments, virtual showings, virtual buyer consultations, virtual open houses. And if I don't have appointments at that time, if I didn't have any for the day, then I would take that time and I would do some more prospecting. I'd make some more contacts. And then 4 to 5, I'd work on my marketing. And then 5 to 5:30, I'd prepare my contact list for tomorrow. And then 5:30 to 6, I'd do a final check of my email. Again, I close it out. And then 6 o'clock, I'm dinner with my family. It's super important to have dinner with my family at the table. So yes, I actually time block it. Super important. Now, let's just move on. So let's focus on how you can design your best routine day to maximize your time. Now, we all know there's no such thing as a typical day in real estate. It's part of the fun of being a real estate agent that it rarely do you have 2 days that are the same. But there are productive days, and there are those days that get away from you. You know the ones. Your alarm goes off. Before you even get out of bed, you reach over and you grab your cell phone. You check your email. You see several new emails have come in overnight. You see a buyer wants to see a property. You make a mental note to check MLS to see if it's still available. That next email that you see is from your photographer confirming your appointment for the vacant house that you had staged earlier in the week. Another mental note to go by and make sure that the house was staged properly and that it has a lockbox and a key for the photographer. And you go through and see a couple more emails that are easy to delete. Feels so good to delete emails. I'm not sure if it's productive, but it feels good, right? And then before you know it, 45 minutes have passed and your feet haven't even hit the floor. You pull yourself together and likely some other family members, and the next hour or two is the scurry of the daily life. And then you're back in your real estate mindset again. You know networking is important, and you sign on to social media to post that photo or maybe a happy birthday shout out. And while you're there, you catch up on what's going on with others in your network. Your friends and family. What's the point of being your own boss if you can't take time out for them, right? Except now it's almost lunch. So it's time to eat and get out the door. You have more emails coming in, but if you reply to them all, you'll never get out the door. So first step, you run by that vacant house and put the lockbox on it. And then you remember, oh yeah, I want to scout out that neighborhood for those for sale by owners that somebody told me about. And then, oh gosh, I've got to run by that listing for my fellow agent that asked me, she's out of town and asked me to just go check on her listing. And then so on and so on. And now it's the end of the day. And you wonder, how could you be so busy yet accomplish so little? And you resolve to try again the next day. Does this sound familiar to any of you? I'm actually going to launch a poll and see. Let's see if any of you have had days like this. There you go. Yes, it's every day, maybe occasionally, or maybe I make a schedule. Yes, it seems every day, right? Yeah. All right, we'll give a couple more minutes to let everyone vote. Yes, occasionally, yeah. Like those fires that we are always putting out as real estate agents. I 100% agree. Okay, people are still voting. I'll give you another couple seconds. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and stop it. And there you go. Looks like we're about 50-50. We got about 4 people that they make a schedule and stick to it. I love that. I love seeing that. I love that. iPhones are great and terrible. Yes, Jared, I would agree. Amanda said, yep, agreed. Awesome. All right. Let's move on. Let's talk about how we can, move forward. Oh, thank you, Cindy. I love that. That was helpful. Thank you. All right, as that story illustrates, it's entirely possible to be busy all day long and yet not move the needle on building business. And you want to pour your thoughts, time, and energy into what drives your business so your business can help you achieve your goals. It's very easy to let the urgent get in the way of the important unless you make the important your priority. And that's what we're here to talk about today. While there's no such thing as a typical day, you can absolutely build a flexible schedule that puts you in the position to maximize your productivity. So let's look at some ideas on how we can do that. In this next section, I'll be sharing with you some best practices. They're for you to adopt or not. Take the ones that work best for your business. Now, I will tell every agent I know that they are an independent contractor, yet I also want them to remember they're a business owner and leader in their community. And the best business leaders know it's important to take control of the work in front of them. And one of the best practices to do is to continually take a pulse on your mindset and review how your business is growing. Are you seeing an improvement? Or do you need to refocus? As a business leader, it's important to be proactive versus reactive. I'm actually going to turn my video off for just a minute because I want to make sure that you can see this next slide as full as it can be. All right. I want you to just for a minute read the screen, and I want you to read these different mindset comparisons and think about this question. Are you an independent sales agent? Are you a business leader? Rate yourself from 1 to 10 where your thinking is at this very moment. Thanks, Sandy. I saw that. Yeah, we will do best practices here in a little bit. Thank you. All right. I'm going to go ahead and jump in. Let's look at it. So that first one. Oh, uh-oh. Sorry, my screen just kind of went wonky on me. That first one, right? I'm so busy all the time. I know it will pay off someday. Or I distinguish busyness from business. The activities that lead to appointments and close business are my priorities. Now, I don't know too many people that are waking up and saying, I bet Jennifer Carnahan needs some business. I'm going to reach out to her, right? Business leaders know that you have to find the contacts if you want to work with them. That not only takes time, but a system of lead generation activities that are going on. How about that next one? I'm finally free, no more bosses. Or the mindset of my schedule is my boss. I have a daily activity goal that guides my work day. And some agents may be too focused on their freedom, right? There's lots of food available and lots of open houses and pre-open broker open houses that you can go and get free lunch, right? But they don't realize that they do have a new boss, and it's their calendar. Now, the business leader follows his schedule to stay on track. Look at that third comparison. I'm still searching for my drive, my motivation. However, I'm working hard to make my daily calls and contacts, Or you've got the comparison of I track my results and I work daily towards meeting the short and long-term goal I've created for myself and my business. Really, if you don't track it, it doesn't count. Business leaders know that every number tells a story. They study their conversion rates to focus on the best results and get the greatest return on their investment of time. And above all, the best business leaders know what it takes to be successful. They maintain a mindset focused on the best practices that they know will keep them on track. So let's talk about priorities. Yes, thank you, Brian. Goals are achieved one activity at a time. I love that. Thank you, Brian. Excellent. All right, top agents know that freedom and flexibility as a business owner means setting your own schedule. It doesn't mean not having a schedule. A best practice is to group those business activities by importance, remembering that best agents set their schedule by making sure that the priority of lead generation gets done first. You'll see on my slide up here, we've kind of grouped them into 3 buckets. So this is a common one you'll see, that everything's important, nothing's not important. It's just how do you prioritize your time? And so we've got the priority 1, which those are activities that are directly related to finding new clients, growing your business. Then you've got priority 2, and those are some activities that are related to closing sales or getting you to the bank, right? My favorite F word is fund. So activities that get you to the payday. And then priority 3 are all the administrative activities that allow you to effectively do priority 1 and priority 2. Priority 1 and priority 2. Does anything on this chart surprise anybody? Type it in the chat box if you're surprised about maybe what you would think is a priority 3 should be a priority 1. I often see people think that the managed contract to close should be a priority 1. That's actually managing your business, right? But you're growing social media. Yes, Natalie, social media being number 3. Absolutely. Thank you, Natalie. Yeah, I would think that one can actually probably has shifted just because of the time that we're in. Thanks, Carolyn. I love that you love it. But normally it would be because social media can be a time suck. I'm guilty of it. I'll open it up and the next thing I know, 25, 30 minutes later, and all I've done is looked at a bunch of kitties and puppies. Respond to text. We all have a small window with Cardis referrals. Respond. Yes. I agree, Brenda. Yes. So yeah. Thank you, Brenda. All right. So we're going to warm up those fingers. And I'm going to have you use the chat to prioritize some of the common daily business activities that you're seeing on the screen. Let me get my little pointer so we can do it together. And so let's say that, remember the 3 priorities. The priority 1 was those activities that were directly related to finding new clients. And then priority 2, the activities getting you to your closing your sales. And then priority 3, those administrative activities. So what do you all think about lead generation? Do you think that's priority 1, 2, or 3? Pop in the chat. Yeah. Oh, yes. 11111. It's like a tally mark. I love that. I love that. Yes, one, absolutely. If you don't have leads, then you're not going to have contracts to write, right? You're not going to have people to show. Absolutely. Agreed. Agreed. I'm going to turn my video back on. All right. How about that second one? Administrative task. Now that one's on there, right? Yeah, it's the giveaway. It's right there on the screen. Yes, 3. Right. It has to be done, but when you're prioritizing your day, what is the most important? And it's growing your business. All right, here's the controversial social media. What do you all think about social media now? Would that be priority 1, 2, or 3? I got some 2s, 3s, a 1, 2, 2, 2. Yeah. I agree, because right now, current situation, I agree, Laura. Same thing I was going to say. Yeah, absolutely. It's become a it's a way of us. We can't go out and door knock. We can't go to our normal areas where we would network. So social media has really become, I think, for the time being, one. As long as you're using it for business, keep me in touch. Yes, Karen. Absolutely. It's the new white pages. I love that. Yes, absolutely. All right. How about I'm gonna put bulk listing prep and presentation and buyer consult and prep, because they go hand in hand. What do you think? Priority 1, 2, or 3? 2. Yeah, 2, 2, 2. I would say 2 as well, right? It's getting me to the payday. Right. Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. That's awesome. How about marketing listings? Do you think that would be a priority 1, 2, or 3? A 1, a 2? Yeah, 2. Yeah, technically, they say it's a 2, but I think it could possibly be a 1, because it's a way for finding new clients. Absolutely. I love it. How about touring and servicing? 3. Elizabeth says 3. 3, Carolyn. Yeah, I think it could be borderline. I think it could be a 2, probably. Right? Brace this question mark. Yeah, I say 2, right? Because if I'm going out and showing those homes, then I'm able to get to the payday. Yes. How about negotiating contracts? 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. I would say 2. Absolutely. Super important. None of these are non-important. It's just when you're thinking about prioritizing your day. All right, this is a trick one. Inspections. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. Yeah, technically they say 3, but I think it's just how you're prioritizing. 2, 2, 2. I would say probably a 2, right? Those are part of your contract negotiating. I would agree. Maintaining pendings. You think that's a priority 1, 2, or 3? Inspection is a decisive activity. I agree. 3, 3, 3, 2. All right. Yeah, I would say it's probably a borderline 2 or 3, right? They kind of cross over. Some of these have a little gray area. Absolutely. How about closings? 1, 2, 2, 3. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I would say probably a 2 as well, right? Those closings, when we were permitted to attend, right now they're not really allowing extra parties to attend, but it just seals the final deal. I was with you from beginning all the way to the end. I want my check. Yes, on Carolina. I love that. And then how about the last one, client for life? And then you'll see they put in on our slide post closing. What would you think that is? 1, 2, or 3? Derek says 3. Melissa, 3, 1. Kind of a mix. I think it depends how you approach it, right? Yes, I think agree, Caroline. I think it's like lead generation, right? Those follow-ups, when we're talking about the sphere of influence, those would be people in our clients for life, right? Absolutely. 2 for referrals. I agree. Awesome. Thank you guys for participating and playing along with me. I love that. Thank you. All right, let's jump in. Did you know that the number 1 real estate agent in the world has the same amount of hours, which is 168 hours, as everyone else? Is that shocker? They have 168 hours to eat, sleep, groom, chauffeur kids, find prospects, manage listings and buyers. It's really how they use that time to make the difference. Do you think that these priorities are common to new agents too? I would think that they could be, right? You've got to find those clients. If you're not finding those clients, yeah, then you don't have people to write contracts for or listings to manage. So I do think they are very important to new agents. Great question. All right, this 168 hour, I'm actually going to turn my video off so you can see it a little bit bigger, because it's kind of a blurry screen when it's smaller. That 168 hour table can kind of help you consider the feasibility of your goals, whether you choose to work solo or as part of a team. We need systems and structure in place, and that starts with tracking what you spend your time on. For example, if you don't know that it takes you 10 hours to prep for a listing appointment, how could you possibly streamline that process? It's important to track your time throughout the week. And to maximize our time and build a sustainable business, not to mention our sanity, to maintain our sanity, it's critical that we keep a laser focus on the activities that make us money. That's a fun slide to really kind of just take it out and break out how you're aligning your time with your goals. And then, do you need to possibly outsource some things? Do you need to have maybe a high school student or college student go and put your lock boxes on or your signs out? Just ideas like that of talking about aligning your time. All right. What are the best things that we can do to ensure that we don't ignore our number one priority of growing our business? Well, we can look at some best practices that will help us keep on track. So you've got here on our screen, make others aware of money time. Now, that's the time that we're focused on building our business and connecting with clients. And I would say now is the best time to practice because everyone has distractions at home right now. We've got littles, I call my kids littles, fur babies, spouses, etc. And they don't mean to interfere with the non-urgent matters. They may not understand the sacredness of your lead generation time. So if you can be in a space to where maybe you can shut the door, maybe even use a sign such as power hour or hour of power, and that just gives a visible reinforcement that what you're doing right now is important. And of course, then turning distractions off is another best practice that you could do. Now, it's pretty tough to turn off kids and barking dogs. And I know I've been on several calls back to back for the past couple of weeks. And I think we're all getting accustomed to it. But you can turn off as many distractions that you can. It's so easy to become distracted in this technology driven world. So avoid multitasking when you're making your calls. Your lead generation activities require all of your attention. And remember how I said I closed out my email so I wasn't tempted by the little pop-up that basically says you've got mail? I was so bad about that. I would go and jump over it and I'd start reading and then I'd spend an hour and I'd lose track of what I was working on. So I'm really forcing myself to do that these days. Or maybe when I have something really important I need to accomplish, I'll put my phone on do not disturb. And that way because I can be easily tempted to see a text message pop up and then jump over and start looking at it. And again, I've got off track. I really only need to have my contact list in front of me and then have my, what I'm going to say in my calendar. Oh, thank you, Yana. So she said that she's got her 6-month home at working. Yes, right, absolutely. Tried to check email 3 times, yes, but got distracted. Yeah, see, that's exactly it. It does. It's such a distraction. It is. All right, and then the last best practice is to adjust for reality. Now is the time to be more forgiving of yourself and wake up the next day and just try your hardest. All right, time blocking isn't about spending every waking second keeping on task with growing your business. It's about setting realistic expectations for yourself that account for your life and how you live it so you make the most out of your time. So, yes, start with scheduling those immovable objects, doctor's appointments, picking up kids. If you've got kids that have extracurricular activities, put those in your calendar. Or, ladies, when we can get back to our nails, right? Mine look terrible. Every other week, I time block for that. It's important to me. You have to make time for yourself. You have to do you, if you will, right? Make time for you. And feel good about that time and knowing that the rest of your day is productive and you're focused on your business. And here's some suggested suggested steps to stay on track. And that first one, talking about if you're planning your time for your prospecting, does it all have to be at once? No, you could break it up. It doesn't have to be 9 to 11 or 2 to 4. Maybe you're breaking it up and doing some in the morning, some at noon, and some in the evening. But how do you know how much time to allot for it? Well, you want to kind of track what you've been doing. So there's a little suggestion on here, or excuse me, a little question. If you made 5 contacts in 20 minutes and your goal is 20 per day, how much more time do you need today to reach that number? And I'm actually going to launch a poll. So you don't have to do the math. You don't have to do the math right. Like, you can grab your calculator. I would definitely grab my calculator. I'm not. Here we go. So again, if you made 5 contacts in 20 minutes and your goal is 20 contacts per day, how much time do you need today to reach that number? And I should say how much more time, because that is really, yeah, I see you guys are voting. Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of a tricky question. Excuse me. Give a couple more people a chance to vote. Yeah, great. Awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and end it and share the. So technically, it's in the way the question was written was a little funny, but technically it's 80 minutes total, and then 60 minutes additional. If we were to say, okay, I already reached those 20 minutes of those 5, I need 15 more, and I'm spending on average 4 minutes per contact, so I need to schedule an additional 60 minutes. Great job, everyone. Math is not my favorite. But again, I like to reiterate, it doesn't have to be all done at once. Your networking can be spread out. So just being smart about that. And if you're connecting with your clients, you find that you connect with some earlier in the day and some later in the evening, then time block for that. That is okay. That's where you're planning to meet your goals. And then I'd like to also say a really good practice is to write it down. Put it down. It says on the screen, it's not theoretical. Set up an actual calendar, whether you are paper, old school like me. I'm an old school kind of gal. I have a daily planner, but I also use my electric calendar as well. But make sure that you write it. That's really, block it out, literally. Put it on your calendar. All right, with your priorities lined up, you can schedule your day and weeks for maximum productivity. And your first step to blocking your day out is to break out what time bands you can work and what time bands are going to be personal, and then fill it in. And this is just a sample, a schedule that you can, you may want to create one that maybe your day starts a little bit earlier, like mine. And here is an example of a top agent's best day. You want to see that schedule. Hopefully, I'm going to actually turn off mine so you can see it a little bit bigger, because it's hard to see whenever it's my video's on. You'll see the agent gets right into preparing for prospecting after pumping his or herself up for the day. They check their CRM, their database, for contacts that have been pre-scheduled as action items. They look for expired listings and for sale by owners, online leads, and then they prepare their contact lists, prepare their scripts, and prepare for likely objections. And then they hit the phones, and they save their administrative duties for later in the morning. You see, it's 11 o'clock before they check their email. And during this time, they manage the deals they have in progress, manage their digital presence, and respond to emails, voicemails, and text. And then you can see there's an actual lunch break in here. And I told you I schedule my lunch break because I am guilty. I'm a workaholic. I will tend to sit and eat at my desk if I don't put it on my calendar. And so I've gotten in the habit of putting a lunch break on my calendar. Am I always going out with other clients or vendors? Maybe not. Maybe it's just, a quick bite for myself, but I do make sure that I do pause for a lunch break. And then you'll see the priority 1, 2s, and 3s are kind of scattered throughout, right? So I go back and do some more priority 2, where I'm preparing for my appointments, getting ready. Maybe I'm doing some CMAs, listing prep. And then you'll see 2:30 to 5 or 6, those are the client appointments. I'm going out and doing listing and showing appointments, prepping maybe a seller with certain information on their packet. And then I wrap up my day, 6 to 6:15, preparing a contact list for the next day. Super important, right? If you wake up and don't have a plan, it's easy to let the day get away from you. So writing that daily list the day before really helps. And these are just to recap some of the best practices from top Coldwell Banker agents. Again, preparing that contact list for tomorrow's prospecting before you wrap things up for the evening is a great way to jumpstart your morning activities. And don't try to schedule every moment of every day. Think again in blocks of time based on your priorities. The best agents schedule the highest priorities early in the day so they don't risk being taken off track by troublesome deals, out of town clients, or other things that interfere with their top priorities. And the best agents learn they can't say yes to everything and everyone. I know that's hard. Learn to say the word no, right? I do know that our industry is a service industry, but we can have boundaries. I cringe when I hear people say they work 24/7, right? Set those boundaries. People will understand that you have scheduling conflicts. The key, though, is to have a schedule. And of course, make good use of voicemail. Consider recording a voicemail, letting people know when you'll be returning your calls. I think it's something we don't often think about. We set our voicemail maybe when we first get our phone and then we forget about it. But it's a great way to change your voicemail for whenever you have blocks of time that you don't want to be disturbed. And then it makes it a little more personal for the caller. Does anyone else have any other best practices they would suggest when they're thinking about creating their best day ever? Type them into that chat box. Let me see if anyone's gonna. Oh, thanks, Brian. I love that. Yes, each day has flexibility built in, given scheduled commitments. Always do the lead generation. That's right. And try and schedule it first thing in the morning, right? Because if you don't, it can tend to get pushed down, right? We tend to procrastinate on it. It's not maybe one of our favorite things we like to do. And so it can get pushed down. So just doing it first thing in the morning is really a best practice. I agree. Yeah, exactly, Brian. Think how quickly we can copy and paste a text message to 20 people. Text messaging is all the rage, but I will tell you right now, more than ever, people are vying for to talk to people. The social distancing is creating the desire to actually pick up the phone. I think more people are picking up the phone today. They want to have those human connections. So definitely hopping on the midway. All right. Thank you, Tina. Glad that you were able to come in or stop by. All right. It's really important in order to reach your goals that you need to track your progress towards reaching them and then identify how you're going to stay self accountable. The great thing about being in real estate is you have no boss. The bad thing about being in real estate is you have no boss, right? That means you are the only person that can get yourself moving. So using your resources of being affiliated with Coldwell Banker, review any systems or technologies that you could leverage to maximize your time and become more efficient. Maybe that's meeting with your branch manager or broker once a week, just 15, 20 minutes, having them help you hold you accountable, or maybe you're possibly pairing up with a mentor. And some of the best practices that we talked about today were just making a commitment to build your business and learning to first prioritize your revenue generating activities. Create a system for time blocking your activities for maximum productivity, and then develop a long term plan to help you meet your goals. Now, as you look forward, you're the only person who can make it happen. You're likely taking advantage of this social distancing and work at home and learning a lot, and your head is probably swimming with some information. It's far too easy to go back to your regular routine and forget those best practices you learned and you wanted to implement. So on the screen, there's a few options for the next steps. They aren't the only things you could do, but they're meant to help you come up with your next step. So I say take an hour this afternoon and commit to your next action item. Schedule some time on your calendar, add it to your to-do list, or even email yourself a reminder. What matters is that you make it happen. Organize those priorities, set your schedule, and track your results. So I'm going to pop over. I've got two of my instructors, like I mentioned, on the call with me today, and I'm actually going to have them unmic, and I'm going to have them share some of their best practices. And then also, if you'd like to put something in the chat, share with the group. I know social distancing and stay at home has been extended in a lot of areas, and I'd love to hear any best practices any of you are that you could share with the group.
Hi, team. Can you hear me okay?
Thank you, Sandy. Yes.
All right. I would say my absolute favorite best practice for time blocking and getting my whole to-do list done is planning it out the night before, if not the Sunday before, so that I know every day when I wake up exactly what I'm going to be doing for the week, especially when it comes to lead generation. When I was an agent, I found that the days I knew, hey, who are those 5 or 10 or 15 people that I'm going to call this day? When I woke up in the morning and knew exactly who they were, I had zero hesitation picking up the phone and making those calls. But when I just sit in front of my computer and say, who should I connect with, is when I really wasted a lot of time twiddling my thumbs and, let's be honest, scrolling my thumbs through Instagram. So my biggest final thought, I guess, at the moment would be make sure you plan those contacts the night before so it's one less hurdle in the morning.
Thanks, Sandy. Brian, did you want to share anything with the group?
I will add something.
Thank you.
I got a little message that says I can't start my video because the host has stopped it.
Oh.
But
well, I'm sorry about that, but okay, well, we can hear you good. Go ahead.
As long as you can hear me. All right. So when I was an agent, and for 18 years I was, one of the things I took a look at was the amount of time that got used for other activities instead of money producing activities. And of course, the biggest one that came to mind was the amount of TV that got watched. So I guess I've gone to be a non-TV watcher and have found that an extra 2 hours a day, and for a lot of people, I know that's even 4 hours a day, but to be able to have that extra time and then use it for connection time, because they say the number 2 thing that leads to us being happiest in life is the quality of our connections. So, and TV viewing didn't even make the top 10 list for what makes us happiest. So therefore, if you're going to be in real estate and want to be not only productive, but the happiest you can be, you might as well take the time and switch it over to connecting with people and build the relationships that ultimately lead to more business.
Awesome. Thanks. Thank you, Brian. That was awesome. I see a couple of people that Carolina says she doesn't watch TV. I don't watch much, but every once in a while I do watch, I call it like trash TV, the reality shows. I just mindless TV to kind of pass the time, but I don't watch very much TV myself either. And Yana said she doesn't own a TV. Does anyone else have any best practices that they implement towards either their social distancing that they're using and how they're reaching out to their clients, or how they are possibly maybe how they're doing their schedule now? We've had to make some adjustments on how we're arranging our schedule now. Wow, dragging on a breath. Yeah, awesome. Well, great. Well, I know I'm finishing up just a little bit early. I know you'll be so sad, right, that we didn't go the full hour. But creating a business Facebook page right now, going to send out. Oh, awesome. Great job, JD. Any tips for new contacts as a new agent after you've reached family and friends? I think right now, Natalie, it's really trying to leverage those social media. It's a great opportunity now. You can market it per your office and per your state laws, but you can possibly talk to some other agents and see if you can help market their listings that they have right now and try to get some leads from that as well. We got a couple newbies here. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Brian. Download an activity tracker and record your time. Definitely. Definitely. Oh, you're welcome, Natalie. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yes, I'm so glad they say, hey, we're all new at one time. I think about that, about any kind of industry. We start something new. We've all been a newbie at one point. And the thing is just keeping, you're looking forward. It's okay. It's okay to not have all the answers. Super, super important. All right. My first client is going to be my brother. Oh, that's awesome, Gloria. That's awesome. Lori, thanks. All right, real quick, before I let you go, if you could take a second and complete an evaluation on the class today, our workshop, they'll call it. And the website to go to is C is in Charlie, B is in boy, R is in Ralph, and then evals. E is in Edward, V is in Victor, A is in Apple, L is in Lion, S is in Sam.com. And it's going to prompt you to ask you what type of class you took. And this was obviously a virtual class. And it was priority management and goal setting was the actual class name. And it's going to ask you for your region. Just select your region. So there's 4 options: north, south, west. And then it asks you for the instructor. And my name was Jennifer Carnahan. And I really appreciate all of you being here today. I'm going to comb through and just see if I had any questions that I missed in the chat. But I think we stayed pretty caught up. Thank you, Sandy. Pretty caught up with the chat, thanks to my 2 counterparts. So I appreciate all of you. It was so nice to